I'll tell you, the only thing I ever lied about on a rap song was on Kill Them All, and I called my business manager and he talked me out of it, was on Kill Them All when I mentioned like something like run over these bloggers in my Lambo. And I swear to God, I'll call my business manager right now. I said, bro, like, I don't have a Lambo. I have a McLaren. Like, I think I should buy a Lambo. So I swear to God, I swear on my mom's life, on everyone's life. That was the only time I ever lied to my raps.
Wow.
And in fact, if we listen, maybe I changed the line, but yeah, that was the only time I ever lied because I'm not making music to persuade y'all. I'm making music for me. Right. So if I'm not really doing the drugs or if I'm not really having the trauma, I'm not pushing it.
Okay,
and
but
that's
you say it's a negative thing, but we have movies. Like movies are
bro,
fiction. Movies are entertainment.
There's a difference between saying this is my life and this is fiction.
I love this debate. I love this debate because it doesn't land. I'll tell you why. There's no leg to stand on. Movies are under the notion that it's fiction, like you said. Mm-hmm. When you watch Scarface, you're going into the theater like, I'm about to watch a story. The appeal to rap is that it's real. In fact, to the point that rappers make it a point to say that they're real. So you can't, that whole notion of like, nah.
But that's the thing. It's like you're selling art. So I have a stage name, I have a persona.
You're absolving accountability. You're absolving accountability.
I don't think so.
I think you are because the reality is, that's fine, but then make it clear that it's the WWE. But don't go out of your way to
WWE doesn't make it clear it's WWE.
That's a great point. They received a lot of criticism for it.
Watch, but
it doesn't matter. No one says what they're doing is bad.
No. WWE makes it clear to the people who, like, at a certain age, you know Santa Claus isn't real.
Yeah. WWE has never said publicly these are staged.
Of course.
If you have eyeballs, you know.
But what I'm saying,
and I feel the same way when you see a rapper. It's like if you have eyeballs, you know this shit is bullshit.
That's exactly how I feel about rap.
But realistically, right? Yeah. A lot of the appeal of rap, this is what I'm saying, because when you keep in mind that the main consumer is a white boy who thinks it's real, you have to understand that the appeal is that it is real. So, like, even though they're not saying it, they're not saying it. You see what I'm saying? It's like the whole appeal of like this slide on op music is like, yo, I think they really are. And a lot of them really are.
But wrestling's that. Like people thought Stone Cold hung out with his friends and went like that, drank his bitch.
Rap is not wrestling.
Here's what I would say.
The appeal of rap was that it was not wrestling. The appeal of rap was that it was real.
Reality
Everyone
rap.
is under the notion that it's real.
I understand the point.
I know because we're all grown men that it's not real, but I'm saying the appeal.
A lot of people still believe it's real, and also there are rappers.
It's still real to me, damn it. Have you seen that?
I think 70% of people at a wrestling show think that shit is real.
No, it's not 70%, but here's what it is. I
dare any of y'all to come out and I dare any of y'all to come out and say one of these rappers is lying about the shit they're rapping about.
I think
because that rapper will die on a hill defending the shit they're making.
Here's the thing. I think most of us know.
They say they're telling the truth.
It's much like
keeping up
the persona.
It's like wrestling in that we know at a certain age, you know it's fake, but we all just kind of, and I can't speak for black people, but I think the rest of us kind of buy into, look, we know most of this is bullshit, but let's all pretend it's real because it's just a fun thing, like wrestling. It's just a fun storyline we're all buying into, and I can't speak for the black consumer, but I think most of us at a certain age know most of these rappers ain't doing nothing. They got fucking Roth IRAs or whatever investment accounts, and we're all buying into this game.
We have aged out of the audience that is influenced the most by rap. We've aged out. So you're talking, right? We're talking amongst each other as grown men who understand that it's not Santa who's bringing the presents. Mm-hmm. The audience that's most influenced by rap thinks it's real. And the issue that I have is that if it is not real, don't push it because it's negative. Now, if what you're pushing is positive and it's not real, push it by all means.
That's Santa Claus.
Santa Claus isn't real, but it's positive. Y'all shit isn't real, but it's negative. And you're not even living it? Nicki spoke on Future saying when I talked to Future, he told me he wasn't even doing the drugs that he talks about in the songs. I think Future's music is amazing. I'm grown enough to have the discernment to say, man, this shit is, Stick to the Models is like my favorite shit, right?
Russ, watch your mic.
Sorry. Stick to the Models by Future is my favorite shit, right? But I also know that the reason why I wanted to try lean when I was 19 was Future. Was Future.
And I'm
not going to blame him. Yeah. That I'm grown.
I did think the drug shit was real. I knew the slide on ops wasn't.
The drug shit.
No, I'll tell you why the drug shit can't be real. Because
not
you
the
cannot
extent of what he was saying.
You can't do that many drugs and live this long.
Yes. Okay, but not to advocate.
Which is why when
negative.
Juice WRLD said, "I started doing these drugs because of you," we have seen it live in the flesh. Juice WRLD said, "I did drugs because of you." Juice WRLD died of a drug overdose by following somebody who does not even do the drugs that they said they did.
Valid point, yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about? Everyone wants to tiptoe around the fucking, because certain people are Teflon and you can't talk on certain shit.
Why is there a defensiveness around this, Al? What do you think that is?
Because people are trying to protect free speech, even if this free speech is negative.
I don't think it's free speech.
Yes, it is.
I think it's a cultural.
That's what it is. It's like, oh, we should be able to say what we say. You can, but then also face the consequences.
I think it's cultural success, and I think
I think it's we should be able to say what we can say, but then that's fine. But you cannot absolve yourself of the accountability when you have to face the consequences of your actions, and when the chickens come home to roost. When Juice WRLD, who did drugs because of you, dies, that is a real moment of reflectiveness that needs to happen within the culture.
Real quick. No, question.
That's the reality.
Yeah,
am I tripping?
No, you're not. But I don't think anyone
when Alex Jones or when Tucker Carlson or any of these dudes that were supposed to be taken on face value, right, as like news sources, and they were telling the truth. When they back up and they go, "I'm just doing this for entertainment," they get ridiculed.
Yeah.
How dare you manipulate all these people?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, you could make the same argument that Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, or any of these guys
presenting yourself as news.
Right. I see where you're going.
You won me over with Juice WRLD, but you can't go news, because news is news. It is. I'm presenting this as news for you to consume as facts.
But you have to understand, to a 17-year-old,
this is my life.
To a 17-year-old, a rapper is giving them news on the culture.
But it's
the same thing.
It's candy news. It's like sports is real.
No, but like rappers,
I think we're kind of arguing two things. Like, no one's trying to absolve rappers influence. Like, a parent should raise their kids.
For sure.
Kids can look up to somebody and be influenced by, but at the end of the day, it's up to the parents to raise your kid.
I agree.
So it's like, this artist should be able to be an artist. If they are actually, and we can't act like this shit isn't going on. Yes, there are some rappers that are fronting, but there are rappers that really are about that life. We see it happening. We see Chicago. We see there are. So it's like, you can't put all the onus on the artist.
No. And for a disclaimer, I'm not talking about the ones who are actually talking. Like I said, I'm not talking about the ones who are actually talking about the trauma.
No, but even the ones that aren't.
No, but see, that's where you have to start raising an eyebrow of like, this is a little bit evil, because if you are purposely choosing to promote a negatively influential lifestyle that you yourself are not even living.
Take that part in.
This is fucked up. I'm not talking about the ones who are like, yo,
I'm not advocating for it.
I really lived this. I did X, Y, and Z. I'm using my music as a journal to talk about it. Let them express what they express. The ones who are not doing it, but they're doing it because it makes money, and then they have blood on their hands.
I'm going to further reinforce the stereotypes of the black community from my personal gain.
And to their point,
that's a crazy intro.
That's essentially what the criticism is. It's like, if you are living these things, that's incredibly unfortunate, and you were born into a situation you probably couldn't avoid, and you should be able to speak on your experience. But if you did not live them at all, you are further reinforcing the stereotypes of the black community just so you personally can get money. While those people
that's the definition of selling your soul.
Yes.
That's the definition of selling your soul.
I think that criticism is good.
But to what we're all talking about, because what I've heard from a lot of people sitting here is, well, but it's WWE. Okay, so what we're saying, what I hear is that majority of rappers have sold their soul, but it's okay because it's art.
No, I'm saying.
Well, I will say also, to his point, it's not just negative reinforcement. It sets up a negative reward system where you think to yourself, if I want to make it, I got to be one of the real guys. Not even fake it. I got to be real. Otherwise, if I get my card called,
bro, this shit is
phony. I might have to live that life.
I think it's a little hypocritical to just call out that, because this happens in society everywhere. There are people that are selling cancer to you. There's people that say, like, tobacco industry.
Well, I wouldn't say it's hypocritical. I would just say it's hyper-focused.
But there's a lot that don't. McDonald's are killing people
I know,
every day, and it's like nobody's calling this shit out.
I know, but that's like that tweet where it's like if you say you don't like oranges, someone's like, what? So like pineapples just get off the. It's like
multiple things can be wrong.
Yes. We're talking about
McDonald's has received so much criticism, bro. There's been so many documentaries. Super Size Me is a documentary. Like there's constant.
No, but we're talking
criticism.
We're talking about music,
we're talking about artists that are putting out bad music, and it's up to the people at home who consume that music how they live their life listening to it. If you're raised right and you know we can all listen to a Future song and not be influenced by it.
Yeah.
You said, hey,
that's because we're grown now.
Yeah, but if your parents were a little bit closer to you, they wouldn't have let you have access to that.
No.
You might have wanted to try it, but
let's pump the brakes, right? We were all 19 once, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you're outside of your parents' supervision. So at 19, when I'm like first dabbling into music, I'm drinking, I'm smoking weed, Future's going crazy, he's dropping Tony Montana. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And especially in Atlanta, it was a different time. You know what I mean?
It was sitting next to two people that have never done drugs, didn't have sex before marriage.
But everyone's
not everybody's influenced by what they.
I agree, but to your point, not everyone is influenced by what they're, but some people are. So you can't just write
put it on the artist.
Also, Alex,
real quick.
What I'm saying is you can't just say, well, these two people weren't influenced, so it's not at all on the artist.
Hold on.
Even though
point.
someone like Juice WRLD literally told Future himself, I started doing lean because of you.
1 point. Let's say there's.
We can't absolve that.
Let's say
I'm
that
not saying
there's
it's absolute. Yes, there's some.
It's not that black and white.
Yes.
Let's say that there's zero influence, right? Let's say it doesn't impact a single person. Like nobody does drugs because of it. Nothing, right? Everything's the same. Society doesn't change at all. You could still go. You are profiting off of a trauma that is not yours, that you are also reinforcing a negative stereotype, even if it doesn't turn into anything.
That's true too.
You still are profiting off do you know what I'm saying? Like
that's kind of where I was coming from at first, which is
it's an icky way to make money,
if it's not your real life,
you could argue that that's the culture vulture. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I agree. It's an icky way to make money, but there's a lot of people that make money.
I know,
this is where you're missing the mark. Hold on, Russ. This is where you're missing the mark. Nobody ever says somebody who works for Philip Morris didn't sell his soul. You sell cigarettes. You made it a point to sell cigarettes to kids. You sold your fucking soul. Nobody, if you call a cigarette company, is gonna be like, bruh, what about drug dealers? Nah, motherfucker, it's you. You sold your soul. So I just don't like that whataboutism of, well, what about these other, we're not calling them out. Of course we call them. We call them all the fucking time.
Everybody gets
if you're
called
McDonald's and you decided we don't even
everybody
eat
gets
chicken,
called out.
you sold your fucking soul. Ray Kroc sold his fucking soul.
Yes.
Y'all sold your soul. We call them all out.
I will agree. It's an icky way to make money, but at the same time, I think you have the liberty of being an artist where it's like, hey, you get to make whatever type of art you want to make. If it's not positive art, then don't consume it.
Or just admit you lying.
No. I
just
agree.
Admit you're playing a character.
Look.
Wrestlers don't have to.
I think to close it out, I think make what you want to make, but also don't absolve yourself of accountability when it comes down to if you're talking about something that's negative and pushing something that's negative that you didn't actually do or live, but you're doing it because that makes money, you sold your soul.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
We can agree.
And just own it. Yeah. And just own it.
We can agree on that.
But this whole notion that nah, chill, people should be able to talk about what they talk. Oh yeah, you can. But guess what? You're also not exempt from. It's criticism for selling your soul.
The Juice WRLD thing completely flipped me. I only thought about violence.
That's not my
my
opinion.
Yeah.
That is documented.
Yeah.
He told him that. And Nicki is in interviews saying, I think it was to Joe Budden, saying that Future told her that he doesn't do the drugs that he talks about. So it's like, that to me, like I said, I have a whole Future playlist. Because I'm grown and I can use discernment, but it's like, dog, when you see somebody like Juice WRLD, who their introduction to it was because you glorified it, That's gotta feel crazy.
But then it's also, hey, where's Yusuf's parents, friends?
No, bro, because
where are the people around you that are like, stop?
Because then we're acting like, then we're acting like,
no,
that's not true.
Yes, like you can't put it all
because then we're acting, because then
only Future's fault. Like
because then we're acting like none of us were 19 before, where even if you had good parents, you just didn't want to be 19 and wild out because that shit sounded cool.
There are 19-year-olds that didn't want to wild out.
I know, but then the ones who did.
They're the vast minority, though.
No. But minority.
You could argue the foundation is set by the parents.
Listen, minority and majority is irrelevant. The fact that there are 19-year-olds who chose to wild out because they heard he was wilding out, even though he wasn't wilding out, cannot just be ignored for the sake of an argument. That still has to be like, yo, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
We're not saying that's the whole blame. We're not saying that's what's wrong with the world. But there needs to be accountability. It can't just be like,
what if Michael Jordan
some
never
people
wore
died,
Jordans?
big deal. It can't just be that, because that's the alternative. The alternative is like, so what? So somebody died because he followed what he said. Big deal. Where was his parents? It can't be that.
You could also argue it's worse from an artist than it is from a Philip Morris, because at least I know those guys are just trying to make money. Art is supposed to be art. The art that hurts people, that you're just saying, no, I'm just trying to make money and calling it art, and that's kind of like, as an artist, fuck you a little bit.
Yeah, but the
and
guys...
I was on your side.
True.
20 minutes ago.
But the guys at Philip Morris were spending money trying to convince people that this isn't bad for you.
Dude, they're bad too.
They're
bad too. But you could argue, but to defend the artist and be like, dude, that's art. I'm telling you, as an artist, if your art is killing people and it's not even real to you, I could argue that's even scummier. And you can hear the vitriol I have for these cigarette companies.
Crazy.
These are monsters. You could argue. To say you can't argue that is wild.
No,
you
I'm
can't
just
argue
saying,
that. That's in the guise of art. I'm having people killed is worse than, hey, here's a product that I'm selling as a product and a consumer good that's killing people, because I know you're a greedy fuck. I know you. I clock you as a greedy cocksucker trying to drive up a SharePoint. That's also what corporations are.
I just think we're coddling humans to be like, oh, well, you don't have the wherewithal to know that you shouldn't do the thing that you're listening to.
We're just saying there is also accountability.
I think we are underestimating the societal pressures to just be amongst and just be 18 and be 19. And
but why can you be 18 and 19 and watch John Wick and not want to go out shooting everybody?
No, see,
why do you have that wherewithal?
See,
but
this
then
correlation
John Wick isn't a documentary.
It doesn't matter. Why do you have the wherewithal to know that?
Come on, bro.
You're aware of the difference between a movie.
That to me, exactly. Hold on.
Right? Came on screen. Hold on.
Let me talk, because I hate that analogy. I always have. Because it's acting as if, it's like gaslighting to me. It's trying to make it seem like Future is John Wick. No. We got introduced.
I think Future is John Wick.
Because you're grown. Guess who is the majority of
I never heard a Future lyric that made me want to do the thing.
No,
this is
even when I was younger.
This is important.
When I was listening to March Madness, I did not.
DMX though.
Bro, but hold on.
Keanu Reeves exists.
Hold on.
Keanu Reeves exists.
That's it.
It's over.
No, this shit, like, to just.
This is a guy that was influenced by DMX as a teenager.
Yeah, that's true.
To act like, come on, dog. To act like rappers are literally made up action heroes would then insult the integrity of rap.
Yeah.
So, because guess what?
It should be.
Hold on. So, which one is it? Is Future and 21 Savage, are they Gangstalicious? Are they John Wick? Or are they who they say they are? Which one?
What's Gangstalicious?
From Boondocks, which was a dude who was playing and portraying the role of a gangster rapper, but it got defrauded throughout the episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in hip-hop.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that you can't blame the consumer for not seeing through the image that they've been presented and saying, well, y'all are just dumb, and absolving accountability of the person who's perpetrating the fraud. And that to me is crazy gaslighting.
I think you can't blame the artist.
Yes, you
for
can.
Saying
that's chapter one.
You're putting out this
message.
No,
dog. Chapter one is
they didn't have the wherewithal to be like, hey, I'm not going to be influenced by the message.
That's almost like this. Back to the Morocco story.
Yeah.
That's me selling you a fake rug and blaming you for buying the fake rug.
You should know.
Why am I selling the fake rug?
Future's not telling anybody to go out and do drugs. He's just saying what he does.
Do you know what a cosign is?
He don't go tell you, yo, guys, everybody go out and do it.
Bro, people are what they do, not what they say.
But he's saying what his experience. He's not advocating for you to go out and shoot people.
Yes, bro. Do you know how a cosign works? Kids move off of what you do, not what you say.
There's a reason influencers get paid.
So
right?
it's like
Yes.
your
But
lifestyle.
they're selling it. They're saying you should get this fit tee.
Bro, it's not
Unless
that
it's
black
their
and white.
brand,
It's
they're
not
walking
like,
around in it, but yeah.
Look, put it like this. I don't need to promote tequila on this podcast with my words. If you just see me pour it, it promotes it.
True.
So to act like Future's not telling people or what, it's like, come on, bro.
Well, can I ask a question? Here's a question. And you guys answer it. If Future said, hey, I just want to let you guys know, this is a character that I play.
He's never going to say that.
No, I'm saying hypothetical. You're giving your answer.
Yeah.
So if Future can say, this is a character I play, I just want to let you know my character's Future. He does all this gangster shit, does all these drugs. That's not who I am. I went to Cornell. I studied business in there and studied music, and I'm an amazing musician, and I just choose to play this character. Here's the music. Do you think that his music would be more consumed or more popular if he was honest and said that? Or if he was like, no, I am that character. This is who I am. You'll never see me break that character, and I do all those things. What would make his music more successful?
Is a magician so more attractive once you know how they do the tricks?
No, he sucks once you know how
No
to do
kidding.
the trick.
So exactly. They're never going to admit how they do.
If that's the case, then he
Yes.
is profiting off of the illusion. Whether the kids do it or not,
of course.
there is more profit coming from the illusion.
And he's not saying
Yeah.
100% of the blame is on the artist.
I'm not. I'm just saying that the fact that
But he
can't
can make
absolve
more
this
money doing it.
This notion
Yeah.
that there's no accountability for the person who's responsible for perpetuating the illusion is just gaslighting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's y'all's fault for believing it. No. Start at chapter 1. Why are you perpetuating something you're not doing?
Also, even
That's
if I
the
think
reality.
you're
We
fake,
reached the
I still want to
conclusion
do
of
it.
It's not all of his responsibility, but he's not absolved of any
that's
responsibility.
it.
Yeah.
It's just what we're basically arguing.
Beautiful,
is-
happy me.
What's the percentages?
Yeah.
That what we're doing is, and right now it
Yeah,
feels
we're
like
trying to
there's
figure out what the
Yeah, we're trying to, is it 50? Is it 49?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
But I think on social media, it's so extreme. It's like, it's all his fault or it's none of his fault.
Yeah, exactly.
The reality is it's like, look, both parties play a role.
everything's going to play a role. Everybody's going to have a
Yeah.
little percentage. We just got to figure out what it is. But like even suggesting that there is a percentage, I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
But I'm sure if I'm a label, I'm like, hey, don't start this. This is how we make our
Oh,
money.
of
If I'm an
course.
artist, I'm like, yo, don't
Bro,
start
when
this. This is how we
goes
make our
out,
money.
I'm getting flamed.
No, I'm gonna get flamed.
No.
Trust
You're
me.
gonna be like,
I'll argue again. Who's getting flamed the most? I'm getting all the flaming. You're like, no, I'm
Yo, but
getting
think
all-
about him,
you're
bro.
flaming.
But think
Nah,
about
I'ma
what,
get crushed.
what Russ got to go through.
Why
like,
are we allowing white people to speak
No,
on black culture?
not even that.
Top comment.
That
Oh,
didn't
that's top
cross my
comment.
mind.
That's top comment.
Wow.
You got
And it's fair.
No, you got to think about, to make your life interesting, you got to fuck all these bitches. You got to buy all these cars. You don't even want to do that.
You talking to me?
Yeah, think about all the shit you gotta go. Think about the suffering. You gotta buy Lamborghinis. You gotta have threesomes like crazy. You gotta go to Marrakesh. You don't want to do none of that shit. But to compete with these liars, you gotta spend all this goddamn money, bro.
I'm really
You
in
the
the
victim.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Yo, I gotta pee. Can we pause this for 1 second? All right,
Can we go together?
let's break.